Welcome to Acoustic Chef. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. This is D Will.
This is Ebony.
It's Capel.
And this is Regina. How's everybody doing today?
Red.
Good. A1.
Good.
Ready to go.
What are we talking about? There's a lot in the news, but what are we talking about? I don't want to focus on negative things today.
Oh, sorry.
I need to start drinking. I need to start getting me a little to drink because like the last 3-4 shows, somebody got something to drink, and I'm sitting up here with a damn shaker cup like I'm about to go to the gym.
Coffee, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get where you. I'm drinking coffee, but I want what Gina got.
I had
you too.
Exactly.
Oh,
I had coffee. This is the Cali Red.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Snoop Dogg 19 Crimes Cali Red. I like it because it's not bitter. It's slightly sweet, but it tastes good, and so I could probably drink a whole bottle of this in one sitting because it's just that good.
That's why what to happen, huh? You about to do that now, aren't you?
No, this is it for today. I got stuff to do. I need to be coherent and precise.
I feel that.
Look, that's great. Hey, have y'all? I don't know if y'all have Amazon Prime, but I just recently started watching The Boys. Have y'all seen that?
No.
Yes. Oh yes.
And season 2 came out yesterday, and that's what I'm gonna be watching.
Damn, y'all didn't tell me.
I am on it. I cannot wait.
So what's it called? The Boys?
The Boys.
The Boys. Hey,
Y'all don't tell me nothing.
What we telling you now?
Well, I gotta catch up now.
I just started watching, so it's all good. You
just started watching the first season, or are you on the second season?
No, I'm on the second season. I'm caught up with y'all.
Oh,
I
okay.
already watched the first episode of the second season.
Okay, don't tell us because I haven't. I was just wondering when the next one was coming out.
Yeah, I started the first episode yesterday, and that's why I sent you that text message, Damon, about Kimiko, because I started watching it, but I only watched like 5 minutes of it, and I stopped when I started watching basketball. But yeah, I'm gonna be on it all weekend. I'm gonna start when we get off. Yeah.
I didn't even know, but now I know.
So if you haven't seen, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Ebony, so to give you the premise, it's a series about superheroes, but it ain't like Marvel and DC. It's like
real life.
If superheroes were real, this how they would be in real life.
Yeah,
like, it's a drama. It ain't all with the action and stuff. It got action in it, but it ain't all about the action. It's a drama, and I'm telling you, it go hard for real.
I mean, if you've seen like Project Power, it kind of reminds me of the
realness of
the realness of like their superpowers. Yeah, in that movie. So, but the first season was like, I watched it like all in one setting. I got up to go to the bathroom and get water, and I sat right back down. But it was so good. I was like, man, these people are off the chain. I couldn't even imagine how they were going to do a second season after that first one. So I'm excited.
That first scene on the first show, they hooked me right there. I was like, what the hell? with the speedy dude, I'm not gonna say what happened. With the speedy dude, I was like, what?
Yeah, that was crazy. Hey, when I was like, I was trying to process it while it was happening. Like, what's going on? Like, I know what I think is happening. They just happen. Like, what's really going on? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
I'm tuning y'all out.
Oh, Evident, you're gonna if you like superheroes and drama and like realness, you're gonna like it. You're not gonna want to even you're gonna watch the whole. I don't even know how many episodes it was in the first season. Maybe
8 or something.
Okay, it wasn't that many, so you could probably get through it in one day. But it was pretty good. It was quite entertaining.
Yeah, you don't have to like superheroes to like this.
Yeah,
you don't. You don't.
Yeah, this is true.
It's a good show.
But I got one question about it, which is not giving away anything or nothing like that. But let's say you had a narcissistic superhero. You know what I'm saying? Like he was just all powerful as far as we know. And he's a narcissist and he's an asshole. Like, what do? You know what I'm saying? In that situation,
is his name Trump?
I mean,
you know, it's funny when he was saying that. I was thinking Trump. Outside of like because narcissist and the leader, like I was thinking that even though that's not what I knew exactly what you was talking about from the show or whatever. The thing is like it's funny that you bring that up, and it's funny that everybody say that because the relation is so Like,
Man, I
for
hate
real.
It's
that. Hey, bro.
uncanny.
It is
It's
so
almost
for
like
real.
the character was written based on. Oh my goodness,
I hate that dude. I hate his character, man.
I
I
hate him
hate him
too.
too. I hate him too. But it's so entertaining. It's pretty damn good.
Yeah, we
Ebony,
gotta
you're gonna
stop.
like
We gotta stop. Yeah, because
you're gonna
Ebony,
like
she's
it.
just
Okay,
like,
I
y'all need
can't
to
wait to
shut up.
watch it. They know I'm serious. Actually, thank y'all for giving me something else to like take away all my productive time because I'm gonna be watching it. So I appreciate it.
So
Yeah.
I also watched. I checked out Knives Out. Have y'all seen that with
Yeah, I've seen it.
You saw that?
I haven't
What's that?
seen it.
Hmm.
You haven't seen it, Capel? What's the dude
Nah, I haven't seen it yet.
the new Bond dude name? What is David
Daniel
uh
Craig.
Daniel
Daniel
Craig? Yeah,
Craig.
Daniel
Yeah.
Craig. Yeah, so he plays like a investigative detective and yeah, something like that. Or I guess he's a private investigator or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it's like a murder crime mystery or
Yeah.
whatnot. It's pretty good. It's
Yeah, I
like
thought it was interesting.
a new spin on an old you
Story.
know, yeah,
Like a
exactly.
I'm gonna add that
Yeah,
to my list too. Then that and the
yeah.
boys I'll be watching this weekend. I did finally get around to watching the Five Bloods,
For
and
real.
it was wow. I was just like,
Hmm.
whoa, this
I want
is
to do a whole show on the Five Bloods.
okay. Then I
You
won't
know,
say anything.
you
and I'm
actually
gonna catch
said
up.
that like 4 times on our
Because
shows.
yeah, I want
I know.
everybody to
I'm
watch
just
the Five
saying.
Bloods.
I know you
Yeah.
just keep saying I want to do a show on that. We know, bruh.
So
We know.
I'll
We
watch it
all
by
do.
then.
Yeah.
I keep falling asleep halfway through because of the time that I'm watching it. But
Oh.
I know we're going to do a show on it, but I did see where one of the actors from the Five Bloods gave his account of working with Chadwick.
Chadwick,
And
yeah.
he was saying that, he really felt bad about the way he felt. He kind of judged him. I don't know if he said anything to him, but in his mind, he called him. And I think I don't know the actor's name, but I think he's maybe from Europe or, I don't know
Yeah,
what
yeah.
part. And he said that his thought process of who Chadwick was he called him precious. So I think precious, and they mean like spoiled, or thinks kind of thinks he's full, more than what he is. And he said because when on set he would have people there like massaging him and things like that. But now in hindsight, knowing what he was dealing with and the pain that he was going through, now he sees why Chadwick had the people. When he just thought he was feeling himself too much after Black Panther. So I just thought that was an interesting interview.
Yeah,
So
it's
so
interesting
he
that you
was
say
hating.
that.
So he was hating.
Pretty much. I was about to bring up. I saw Message to the King. I don't know if any of y'all saw that. It's a movie that I've
I
been
saw
wanting to
that.
watch, but I forgot about it, and it popped up on my feed on
Netflix.
Netflix, and I watched it last night. It's good. So you check it out.
Okay.
It's one of his. That's a good movie featuring Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that you say that, Ebony, because it was something that I was reading the other day, just like a post, not like an article, where somebody posted pictures of him when he was, looking like he had cancer, but nobody knew it, and they were
Right.
making fun of him. That not in the post I saw. They were saying the post was actually saying when these pictures actually came out, people were talking about he was on crack, he was on drugs, he was doing this. It's like you never know what nobody going through. It's just a reminder that we got to stop being so judgmental by images that we have no context about. You
Right.
never know what
Right.
nobody's going through,
Right.
and this guy was working on set with him, and his bias completely came out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, people just need to start living more, worrying about their own lives, and stop looking at people on the outside and judging what they see. We'd be a
Right.
lot better off if people focus on their own and stop being, all up in other people's business.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
sad.
Hey, did y'all hold up? My what's the name playing? So there was an interview with y'all know who Delroy Lindo is? He was
Yeah. He was in the
Yeah, on the
Five
Five
Bloods.
Bloods.
yeah, he was on the
Yeah.
Five
Yeah.
Bloods. He was in this interview with this white reporter or panelist was asking him questions about, well, how come you have black African American rappers that can use the N-word or whatnot? Why can't we use it? He was like, say it. He was like,
Yeah,
you wanna say it? Go ahead and say it. Oh well, man, that was a hilarious interview.
it was funny because the
Did
dude
he
didn't say it
say it?
either.
I didn't see that
Oh
interview.
no, of course he didn't
Uh,
say it. That was hilarious.
I remember I saw that. I was like, I like that response. I was like, go ahead and say it. You sitting up here trying to question me about why y'all can't say it. Say it. Ain't nobody stopping you from saying it.
Why
You just
why do
are you
you
ready for what comes next?
Right, there's gonna be some consequences and repercussions. Go
but
ahead and say it.
why do you want to be able to say it? I don't understand
Right.
that. So
Yeah.
when you get by yourself, are you like, nigga, yeah, see, I said it. Like nobody could do anything about it because I'm in private. Like, what's the purpose?
Yeah, I don't understand it. I have no need to even say any other racial slurs for anybody else either.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I don't want to. I don't sit around and want to say wetback. I don't want to say. I
Mm-mm.
don't know all of them, but I don't want to say those. What does it make you feel? Is
Exactly.
it because it's in music? Like I guess
Right.
I just need the understanding. Like why? You can still get your point across with utilizing other words. That's a great thing about the English language. We have enough
Hmm.
words.
Yeah, we have almost too many words, but yeah, you can definitely get your point across. Sometimes when I get angry, I'll drop the N word. I'll be like, you niggas need to get in here and get this room clean. Like I'll say that. My boys are like, dang, why you gotta say that to us? It's like a bad word. And so they know that I don't mean anything by it, but they know when I'm mad and then I'll say it, I'll drop it. But I think it's when I think of that, like white people or other races using that word, I think of that scene from White Chicks. Have y'all seen White Chicks
Oh
where
yeah.
they were
I
all
think
in the
everybody.
car and they're like singing and then they're like, wait a minute, we can't use that word. And they're both like, well, nobody's around. So then they all say it and they're like
Yeah.
excited about saying it because nobody's around and they're having fun with their friends. So I
Yeah.
think that I think the word has lost its power. I don't care. Say whatever you
It,
want to say and then
yeah.
allow me the freedom to say whatever I want to say as well, because I definitely am going to say what I want to say. And
I,
then I
Yeah.
challenge you to, step to me, like fight me if you're mad about it.
to me, like
Yeah.
I've been around white people that use the terminology. Like I remember like going to a place where white people hanging out, like it's like a mixed crowd and stuff like that, and they using the terminology like towards themselves or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to be negative or none of that type of, like using it the same exact way that we use it. I just observed, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
and now reporting, but it didn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. To me, is I don't care about words like that. If it's directed towards me with negative energy or whatever, then I can, maybe I'm having a bad day that day, and maybe it will affect me a certain way to make me want to, let's fight or something like that or whatever. But just in general, I really don't care. Like white people
I care.
rapping. Well, you can say what you want to say, but let me finish. But
Oh no, I'm not interrupting you.
so, like, I remember when Kendrick Lamar I was at a Kendrick Lamar concert, and it had a white girl that was spitting and rapping and stuff like that, and she used, she said nigga or whatever because she was rapping along with him or whatever, and it became this big deal and stuff. I'm like, what's the? It's not a big deal to me because we're talking about a word, and you're not. If you claim that word as yours or whatnot, like it does something to you, then that's like, I think you should work on yourself or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
if you direct negative energy towards me, then I'm gonna give negative energy back. But if you directing positive energy towards me, then I'm gonna bounce off positive energy. I don't care what terminology that you're using or whatever, because if Capel, like we play with each other all the time, and Capel be like, man, you a bitch for that, whatever. And I know that he's just joking, so it's not a big deal. But if I'm out in the public,
I don't be
dude,
joking though.
if I'm out in the public and the dude directs that type of energy towards me, you know what I'm saying? Then I'm in the understanding that that's negative energy, and I'm going to reciprocate that energy or whatever. So it doesn't matter the terminology that's being used. You could be calling me stupid, and I'm going to feel the same exact way. It's not,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm saying that because too many people lose their jobs. Too many people have gone to jail over, well, he said this. He called me the N word. Okay, it shouldn't matter if that person is a politician or a doctor or anything like that. Then they should absolutely lose their position because we know what this person thinks about you. But as
Mm-hmm.
far as somebody using it the same, using their terminology the same way that we use it, I honestly, just me personally, I don't care.
I feel you. I agree with some of your points and disagree with others. I agree with the point that you're making about when if you was sitting around and you saw white people talking to each other and they was using the same way we using it. I mean, I wouldn't care because that's just me. Like, I'm not gonna be offended by it. I'm gonna keep doing what I do in my business. I'm not gonna walk up to them and be like, "You shouldn't be using it." I've heard that too. Well, I mean, when I was in college at Subway, I remember like it was yesterday. This white dude, he was, talking to another white dude. He's actually talking to a black dude, and he was like he had just finished getting into it with another dude. He was about to fight. And he was like, "Man, this
He
nigga
was
blah,
at
blah, blah,
Subway to
blah."
get that
And he
foot
was
long.
talking about another white. He was talking about another white boy, and he was, using the N word, and as he was talking to a black dude about the situation, and I just remember like just kind of like laughing, like I couldn't even focus on his anger. I couldn't focus on because I was just laughing at the fact that he he used the N word to describe this other white boy and
Yeah.
the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen that happen, and it don't bother me. I guess why I
I got
part
one
ways with
question
you
though,
is
bro. Did you go to Subway to get that foot long? Is that what you was there for?
What?
again. Let me continue. Um, so I part ways with you is when you say like when you was at the Kendrick Lamar concert and the girl was on stage rapping and then she said the N word but just saying it with the song. I disagree with you all 100% there because you set a precedent when you don't check people when they are doing stuff in public, like to the masses. Like, if you want to say it in privately, fine. If you in your own personal conversation, I'm not going to engage. But if you think you can get on a stage where you have a platform and then say the N word and it's all good and you're a white person, whether you singing the song or not, you need to check yourself. I don't agree with that one.
I
I don't.
disagree.
It
I
was like
disagree. I'm gonna
baseball.
speak up. I disagree. Here's the problem with what you just said.
Come on, Gina.
So if I was a white girl, and I'm not, but if I were, and I paid my money to go to a Kendrick Lamar concert, I know what kind of music he makes. I know what he says in his music. If Kendrick decides to invite my white ass up on stage to help him sing this song or perform it, whatever. If he puts the mic to my mouth and he expects me to know the words to his song and one of the words in the song is nigga, then that's what I say because
You skip over it.
you wrote the song. I mean, I guess I could skip over it,
What
but
I'm
I'm enjoying your music as well. I paid my ticket as well. I
I'm not
streamed your shit.
addressing
I
the white
downloaded.
girl.
What are
I'm not
you?
addressing the white
What are
girl.
you
I'm not addressing
addressing?
the white girl. I'm addressing the fact that she shouldn't get backlash from it. She should.
Huh?
She can still say it, but you should. You said that word in front of thousands of people, and you were probably on camera, so it went out to even more thousands, maybe
Mm-hmm.
millions, because you're at a concert with one of the most popular hip hop artists. You should get the backlash. You can say whatever the hell you want to say,
And
but
why
you
is that
should get the
again?
backlash.
Well, then if
Because
I
to me, so okay, I always look at big picture. All right, I always look at big picture. Like when you was giving your example, Damien, you started off with examples for your belief, and then you opened it up like your personal belief and what you witnessed, and then you opened it up to a bigger audience. I feel like you set a precedent when you allow that stuff to be okay, because there's millions of white people who are going to see that and they already want to call you a nigga to your face, but they
mm-hmm.
don't because they know that it's not socially accepted. And once we stop complaining when somebody uses the word, even though it's not used negatively, now the president has said that we can use it now. We can call you a nigga because everybody else saw that we letting people say the word and we not getting mad and we not checking them. That's what I'm talking about. The
she should have
president
said,
becomes said.
mm-mm. She should have said, you know what, Kendrick, I love you. I love your music. And if you invited me to go to the back room, I would go with you. But you're not going to you're not going to hit me up today and have
Yeah.
me all up on the Twitters and everybody talking about me and giving me this backlash because I said she should have politely declined if that's not what she wanted.
Yeah.
That
I
or she
think
could have just not said the word when she was rapping.
She
It's
should
very
have, but
easy
she
to
shouldn't
skip
have been
it.
up there. I like authenticity. If you're gonna sing it, sing all of it. Sing every single
Listen,
word. White
I'm
girl,
a
sit
black
down.
man.
This
I'm a
ain't for
black
you.
man. listen, I'm a black man, and because of my job, if I was on a public stage and Kendrick Lamar asked me to come up there, and I knew that thousands of people was looking at me, I would skip over the N word.
You should keep your ass
And
in
I'm
your
a black
seat.
man.
Don't go up there. Because you're
And it's
going to
not
get
because
backlash anyway for being there. Don't go up there. Principal, don't go up there.
I wouldn't get backlash for being at a Kendrick Lamar concert.
Go
No,
stay in your seat.
The reason why I say that is it's easy. That's my point. Is it's easy to not say it. It's easy to skip over
Very
it.
easy.
That's my point. That's my only point. Is it's easy to skip over it. The reason that I would skip over it and say is because I work in a position where people can try to hold me accountable like white people do, where you shouldn't say it either, it's racist. I just don't even want to have that issue. So to make it easier on myself, I would say it. It's not because I don't believe I shouldn't say it. It's just that's what I'm talking about. But the reason I brought it up because it's just simple. I'm a black person and I use it. I just used it with y'all. But it's easy to skip over it if I want to. She could have skipped over it. She didn't want to.
She could
So
have
she
sat her ass
deserves the
down.
backlash.
She
She deserved the backlash that comes.
It was a setup. I feel like she was set up. Like, come up here and sing this part, and let's all watch and see if you're gonna say it. And if you say it, it's song. You're going all over the world. We're gonna put you on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and everything else, sis.
So it's become like baseball.
Wait, let Ebony talk.
Okay, go ahead.
Trying to get a point out.
Yes, she has.
Yeah, I think you teach people how to treat you, and I understand that we have it in our music. I understand that other people have gravitated to our culture. I totally understand that, but I can't. I don't have me personally. I don't have the energy to treat everything on a case by case basis. I also, maybe it's a bias too, because I personally don't have any white friends. I probably need to get some so I can understand it, but I don't have white friends. I don't, but not one. But and not saying because I think I just haven't put myself in the place for that to happen. But at the same time, I think of it as, like you said, it's very easy to skip. I know my children cuss and probably say the raunchiest things. They probably back there singing WAP while I'm in here with you all. But I know if that song comes on, it doesn't matter how ingrained the song is. It doesn't matter what they do with all their friends. They could do that 23 hours out of the day. But when that 1 hour I'm around, they know what not to say in front of me. And I feel like, just like you have friends, I have friends that throw around the word bitch. Hey, that's my bitch. I don't do that. And since I don't do that, they don't do that to me. I'm not saying that it's wrong, but I am saying you can say that to the wrong person that don't it's not going to take it that day. I can't just say I'm going to, it depends on the energy in which you call me a nigger. Because when we're being called a nigger every day, without being called a nigger, like the energy, you can smile, you can be positive, you can be like my nigger, and make it and follow up with something great. But you don't have to call me that, So that is my issue. I actually had a boss that told me, well, yeah, he still works with my company, and he, I guess he felt so cool around me to tell me about how his wife is a teacher in our areas, and that he goes to school, and there's a lot of kids of black and brown kids that don't have fathers, and they look up to him as a father figure. And then he in telling me that story, he then goes to tell me how his grandfather had a black best friend, and he called that black best friend a nigger all the time, and that black best friend wasn't bothered by it. And I'm like, he was bothered by it. Your grandfather's friend was bothered by it. So, but he said, well, no, they were best friends. Yeah, okay. Miss me with that. But I don't know. I don't think that it needs to be said. There's some things I just don't say. I think we're the only culture that have to say, hey, please don't use that slander against me. There are so many ethnic slander terms for everybody. And granted, they're probably not putting it in their music. I don't know. I don't listen to it. But it's not hard. I get that the younger generations, they allow their friends to, I think it is becoming watered down because we're not pushing that fact. But as far as me and my house, If you, I mean, I don't like that I say it. Let's just say that. I don't like it. I'm trying to get away from it, but I do say it. So I'm not here to be, mighty and holy, but I will say that I'm not going to accept anybody around me of another culture to say it. You can say it to your friends, but have enough respect for me when you're around me not to say it. Just like if you have locker room talk as men around me, I mean, with each other, when I'm around, unless we're besties, you're not going to, I hope that you would respect me as a woman to kind of shift your discussion a little bit. So that's just kind of what I require, and that's
I,
what it is.
I agree with that. I understand that, but like you say, when you're with your friends and stuff like that, whatever it is, what it is, because you're in the privacy of your own domicile or your space with your friends and stuff like that or whatever. But why, if I think a lot of people, if you overheard somebody using that terminology, you'd have a problem with it or whatever. You know what I'm
If I
saying?
overheard it, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Why even have a problem if it's not directed towards you in a negative manner? If they're talking to each other like, man, what's up, my nigga? Like, why would you
Oh, I'm
be
not
upset
going
about
to.
it?
I'm not going to fight them. I'm not going to be all hot. Oh my gosh, let's go report them. I'm just, I guess everybody has to learn how to control their reactions. No, my son plays basketball, and a player called him a nigga on the court. But I didn't know that. All I saw was hands being thrown. So I talked to my son. I said, look, you got ejected from the game. You allowed that. He knew what to do. He called you
Yeah,
what he
yeah.
called you. He's still in the game. You're out. So
Straight up.
no, I don't believe that you should necessarily react over everything. But do I have to be like, oh, I just overheard that? It's cool. Inside, I'm not saying I got to be bothered and mad and get an ulcer. I'm just saying that I don't like it. And yeah, I overhear it. If I overhear it, it's really not my business. Yeah, I overheard it. I've heard it many times, directly or things I'm not supposed to hear. But all I'm saying is if you are around me, you're not going to say it
So
around me
don't
intentionally.
so all right, peep this. You realize that this word, we call it a hurtful word or whatever. A lot of people are hurt by this word, right?
Yeah. My
So
great grandmother that raised me was very hurt by the word, and she was born in
exactly.
1908. So I kind of uphold that.
So I understand that. But do you realize the more we use the word, I mean, you know this for a fact, the more we use the word, the less effective it becomes.
Yeah, exactly.
So if they're calling themselves this or whatever, then it's taking all of the effect out of the word. So it doesn't have to be hurtful, none like at all.
It doesn't have to be
So this
hurtful,
the
but I can't sit there and be like, well, now that we've allowed everybody else to take over the word, I feel like we've allowed too much.
It's not even it's not even our
so
word. It was a word that was used in a
No
derogatory
slur is
manner.
ever that culture's word. It's,
Exactly.
it's, it's
So
pushed on them. But
yeah,
everybody else is respected enough not for that to be now a
no,
term of
they no,
endearment.
they no, they not.
It's not a
It's
term
so
of endearment
no, it's not a term
for
well,
everybody else, but for us it is.
I've heard some Mexicans talk about each other in certain manners and say certain
Yeah.
things or
I
whatever.
have to. I think other cultures don't do it as much, but there are some that have taken words, and I think it's only here in America where they've done that. Like I don't think Mexicans in Mexico do that, but I think the Mexicans that live here in America do. You
You
know,
have no choice. You
um,
can't call yourself what you can't call surrender.
exactly. Like I think it's natural. Same thing with the B word with women. Like women didn't start off calling each other that. That was used as a negative connotation, and then women started using it as in a more positive manner to how they
Yeah.
addressed it. It's basically the exact same thing with the B word and the N word. It's the same thing. Like it becomes a natural process to change it because you don't want it to take power over you. I don't have the word don't have power over me. I could be in a store right now and then a white person walk up to me and be like, nigger, move up. I'm mad at the fact that you feel like you can tell me what to do, not because you call me a nigger. And we gonna have words because you think you can talk to me stupid, not
Yeah.
because you call me a nigger. The word don't have power over me, but the word has power over a lot of black people. It still does, and we have to acknowledge that. But it also, the example you're giving about white people using it, that is not a widespread thing, bruh. That's not widespread. It's
You
more widespread with Hispanics using it because
yeah.
at our school, the Hispanics talk to each other like,
Right.
black kids talk to each other.
Straight
But
up.
it's not a widespread thing with white people
I
using it.
I understand and there's a reason for that. And you know the reason why, because a lot of
And
people are scared to use it.
Well, they
and they
use
should
it
be.
with
They need
amongst
to
each
be.
other.
Yeah. I mean, in front of everybody, they need to be.
Yeah.
And also, if somebody came up to me and said, "Nigga, move up," we fighting. We probably gonna fight. Like, you're gonna see me on the news. You're gonna see me on woman fights because she was called a nigger
Okay,
and
so
told to
what
move
if?
Yeah,
up.
and I think that's a more common
So
response, Regina. I think that's a more common response. I think
right.
most black
What you
people
say?
are going to respond like that. I'm not going to respond like that because you called me a nigger. I'm gonna respond like that because you disrespecting me by telling me
Because
to move
But
they
up.
I'm
could have
not
told.
I'm not disrespected by you telling me to move up if I need to move up. If you
No,
call,
no, no.
like, the thing is, nigger does not have power over me either. But if you say nigger move up, it's definitely different than you
Yeah.
saying move up. Because clearly, if you're telling me to move up, I'm not paying attention.
Even
So if
if you
they
tell me to move,
Well. Let me be clear. Let
the
me be
president
clear in
of
what
the
I was
line, you don't
explaining.
get to tell me to move up. You're not the
That's
president
my point.
who told you that.
Like if we sitting
Right?
in line and I'm not paying attention, like you just said, everything, and the person behind me say, "Oh, could you move up?" I probably move up because in my mind I'm like, I might still be like, in my mind I'm like, "Fuck you," but but I'm not going to react that way because, like, I'm holding up the line. That's my fault. I'm not paying attention.
Okay, but okay,
But
now
that's not what I
same
meant though.
scenario.
That's
Nigga
not what
move
I
up.
meant. Well, see, that's not what I meant when I said nigga move up, and I said I would get upset if they told me to move up. I'm thinking in my mind, I'm thinking they like move up, like telling me what to
Okay,
do.
well let's make
But
it a nice tone and let's say move up,
Nigger, could you
Capel.
please move up?
no,
Then what?
see, this is the thing.
If they
Okay,
say
you got me
please,
there.
nigger,
I'm not gonna
please,
lie.
nigger,
I
move
ain't gonna
up.
lie. I would be. I wouldn't. I'm not gonna cause a scene. I'm not gonna like go from 0 to 100. But would I address the fact that she said it in a nice tone, but still said nigga move up? Yeah, I would. I'm not gonna lie. So
that
you
would
got
be
me there. You
hilarious.
got me there.
So there's
But
not
it's
power
not.
that the word over you, but it is like you have realized that that's disrespect. It doesn't matter how nice they say it. The word still has power. It may not be over you. It may not dictate your
Disrespectful.
life, but you're not going to sit up there and allow somebody in any tone to call you out of your name, and they don't
I
know
guess
you.
what I
Or
mean
you
when I
could
say
just turn
power
around and
over
be
you.
like, Cracker, I'm looking at this in the line, and that's why I'm not moving up fast enough. You could
See,
like
Cracker,
retort
I
like
Cracker
that.
don't
wouldn't.
hold no weight. Cracker don't
I
hold no
wouldn't.
weight. I
I
don't
I
mean,
even
wouldn't
use
use.
whatever.
Cracker as a way to
Whatever.
describe her.
Pilgrim cracker. I mean, like, I
Nah,
don't
you
know.
don't. You
But
use the same terminology.
Colonizer.
You use the same terminology back to them. You use the if
So
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so when I say power over me, I guess what I mean for myself is you're not gonna cause me to act out of my character because you use
right.
that word. Like
That's
that doesn't mean I'm not
maturity,
gonna
though.
address you.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I'm not gonna address you depending on the situation.
Right.
I probably very well still address you. In that situation where a woman or a man is like, nigga, could you please move up? I'm I'm not moving. I'm turning around and I'm like,
You
what
are
the fuck
so
did you just say
polite.
to me?
Thank you.
like what did you just say to me? Like,
Yeah. I would
nigga,
ask
could
them
you
to
please move
repeat.
up? No,
Clarify
I'm
for
gonna let
understanding.
everybody. I'm gonna let everybody behind that person. You know what? Y'all need to come around because we're gonna have a conversation. It's gonna be something. My point is not we're not about to get in no fight. We're not about to get in
Yeah.
fisticuffs. You're not about to take me out of my character. So I
Eh,
guess that's what I mean by power. But
I'm
Ebony, you're
a
right. I'm not gonna let somebody just use the N word with me and never address it because
right.
so you're right. It does have a power over me to a certain extent as far as it gets me to where I need to say something to you, but you're not gonna get me to like start busting heads over it.
man.
Yeah, I don't think
I
that's necessary either. I do think it would need to be addressed. And like, I've never been called a nigger to my face by like somebody other than another black person. But I think that if I would go through a range of emotions before I even addressed it. I would probably like stand for a minute and like, did I hear what I hear what I think I heard? And then I would probably turn around and ask, did you just say that? Did everybody hear that, or was it just me? And
yeah.
then like,
Nigger, you heard me, nigger.
yes,
That
then
was-
then we would have words. I'm not gonna
Right.
go out of my character. I don't even do that at home anymore. I don't like yell and
I
scream.
can't. I
But I would
can't let.
definitely say something.
I'm sorry. I just can't let anybody on this planet have that much power over me. I just
hey,
can't.
so Damon, are
You
you
wouldn't
saying
say
that?
anything, or
Let's
you say you would
let's
say
If
anything?
they said it to my children, I don't know. It depends on the day, because I for me, it's like, okay, and that's not always out of character, because this is my character. I'm giving you my character. But if I heard them say it to my children, I think that I would take it up a notch. It may not be 100, but it may be another character of Ebony that you don't know. I'm still in character though. It's just another one.
So Damien, so you telling me that you can go out on a regular day, go to the grocery store, and you get to the line, and the person say, "Nigga, could you move up?" And you be like, "Oh, okay, yeah." And then you get to the line, and you go your food going through, and the server, I mean the person ringing your food up, say,
Here you go,
"Hey, you got
nigga.
that nigga soul food, huh?" And you like, "Oh yeah, I'm cooking some collard greens and blah blah blah." And then you move on and be like, "Nigga, have a nice day." Like you won't say nothing,
That shit would
I
be
ain't
nothing.
tripping.
that would be hilarious to me.
He gonna be like, I ain't tripping. What's up?
That would be so hilarious to me. I remember when I was working for a certain beer company or whatever, and I had this guy named Mike or whatever. You know, shout out to Mike. I don't know if he wanted his last name hollered out, but he was a white guy. He was cool. He was what we consider a coon ass. I don't even know if that's politically correct or whatever, but he was Cajun, and you know that's what he considered himself anyway in Louisiana. So anyway, we go to so he I guess he was like French and whatever else he was mixed with, Native American, maybe black. I ain't no telling. But we go to this place in Alexandria, which was a bar, and we was in there for a minute. And Mike was trying to sell, well, not trying to sell, just trying to fill his beer order and stuff like that or whatever. Mike is a white dude. I mean, he looks white, most definitely. I don't know what else he mixed with, but he's definitely white or whatever. And so they end up having this conversation and stuff like that. And the bar owner is white. They totally forget I'm there. Not they, but the bar owner totally forgets that I'm there. His back is turned towards me. And so Mike asked him, he say, "Hey man, where's that little guy at, man? That be running around here and stuff like that. I ain't seen him in a while." He was like, "Oh, I have him mopping and sweeping and doing all my nigga work." And Mike's eyes like opened up like as wide as some like dinner plates or whatever. And the dude, he just in that second, that instant, he remembered that I was there, and he turned around and he was like just uber apologetic and stuff like that or whatever. And then so Mike finished up the order and we got out of there. And Mike was like, "Man, I appreciate you, man, for not like going ballistic and crazy." I'm like, "Dude, Mike, I don't care. This like this guy, he don't mean nothing to me. I don't Black people don't even come to this establishment, you know what I'm saying, or nothing like that or whatever. So it's not a big deal to me. It doesn't matter. There was no need for me to go get irate or go back and see the dude after work or nothing, no type of shit, because I don't care. It doesn't
Hey,
matter.
bro, the way you just explained that, I feel like I would have did the same thing. I don't feel like
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like that was directed towards you, even though I could very easily see another black person in the same situation go
On
upside his
ballistic.
head. You know what I'm saying? But my point when I asked you, like you could be right, man. You know yourself better than anybody because it's you. I'm gonna be honest though. I find it very hard to believe that if people were addressing you, white people were addressing you as a nigga
One
in
at
open
one
public, like you would just accept it and never say nothing.
at one point in time, of course I would have been, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's kind
Hey,
of
bro, I still feel like at
wild.
this point,
Right
maybe,
now,
like I
no, I
say,
don't
maybe
care.
I'm wrong, maybe I'm wrong, and I'm not saying you would address it in an angerish way, you know. But I mean, if you got that much, you know, if it don't bother you to that point, then that's good for you. I find it hard to believe that most people, most black people, I feel like any black person would say something unless they just scared to. If white people or a white person personally address them as a nigga, if they don't say something, I feel like you're not saying nothing because you too timid to say something, or
Those the
pretty
only
much that's
options.
it. You want to say something, but you don't. I
Those the
just
only
find it hard
options.
to believe. Yeah,
Well,
you're
Those the
right.
only
yeah.
You're
If
right.
you
options.
Those are the only options.
if you address me as Gina, I'm going to correct it. So definitely, if you address me as nigga, I'm going to correct it. Now,
I'm so
am I going to
That's
air
what I'm
this bitch
saying.
out? No, I may not air this bitch out, but I'm gonna address it in whatever fashion that I
I'm not
do. And
look,
nothing's wrong with it. And some people may not address it at all, but you're going,
if
yeah.
if you're addressing me in this manner or whatever, say like if I'm in your establishment and this is what you calling me, then does it bother me to the effect of just you saying the word doesn't bother me. But if you're directing that negative energy towards me, this is how you talk, this is what you think about black people, then absolutely, you know, screw you. I'm out of here or whatever. I'm going to reciprocate that same negative energy and I'm not going
Mm-hmm.
to patronize your business anymore. And I let my
Right.
people know not to patronize. As far as me acting out of character, getting crunk with you, that's not going to happen. As far as if that same store owner just felt comfortable enough, be like, man, what's up, my nigga? You know what I'm saying?
No.
Whatever. Then I'm not going to feel the same way. When I have a
Yeah.
discussion,
Yeah, it's different.
I'm not gonna feel the same way about it because he's not directing negative energy towards me or whatever.
Well, I don't think I understand that people feel like I can feel. I think we all feel energies, but just because people say it in a way because they make it cool and palatable doesn't always reflect that it's positive energy. In my opinion, I do agree with you that everything doesn't have to be addressed, and I do think the power is more of spreading the word. Don't patronize this establishment. But when I address it, it's not just for me because sometimes it does not bother me personally. But I got to think about those that come after me, the next person, the people that are, that's probably the weight that I put on myself. So, and I'm not saying that every black person should do that, but it's going to be addressed. It doesn't, I'm not trying to change mentalities. I don't expect to change your mind. If you feel comfortable calling me a nigga, nothing I say is
I,
going to change. The action, I want you to think twice before you do it to the next black person behind me, because I don't want the next black boy to go to jail because he's not as mature as me. He comes and does something when I could have just said, look, you know, I had a friend that was a teacher, and she was about to be a teacher. Well, I don't, not a friend. I work with this girl, a white girl, and she was becoming a teacher. She said, I'm going to have a lot of colored children. Can you help me? And I said, well, I'm going to help you here. Please don't call them colored children, you know? And I said, I'm glad you said that to me first, you know? And so, and I really, it was very innocent. Now, what her upbringing is and how she felt about people is different. I don't know that. But my thing is, I could have just been like, well, it don't affect me. And she wasn't calling me, you know. No, I'm going to address it because you're going to be around children. I don't know what age children. It doesn't even matter. I
that's
don't
a
know what roles people are going to have. Yeah, I understand it's
that's a
different because she's
different
a teacher.
situation. No, it's
But
not.
but
It's
it,
not
but
just.
everybody is going
It's
to
not just
elevate
the
to another
fact.
situation.
It's not just the fact that she's a teacher. If that same, I would do the same thing that you did and correct her if she said colored nigger or whatever she said that I thought was something negative or whatever. But if she was the same girl that was at the Kendrick Lamar, if she was this perfect teacher, she's solid, but she was the same girl at the Kendrick Lamar concert rapping and said the word nigga, I wouldn't then check her afterwards like, hey, you can't be saying, because I know what's in her heart and I know that she doesn't feel
Yeah, I don't
like
know what's in our heart, but
negative.
I would have, but I still would have afterwards. I would have checked. I said, you know, you did good up there spitting that flow, but you probably should have skipped over that word if we was
So
cool like that.
I want to before we get out of here, I want to real quickly talk about the censored 11. If y'all ever heard this is some old stuff, probably 1968 or whatever. The censored 11 is a group of Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies cartoons originally produced and released by Warner Brothers that were withheld from syndication in the United States by United Artists in 1968. So this was a group of cartoons created by like Freeling and Tex Avery and all of these different people with like I say Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies. So that's Bugs Bunny, Yosemite Sam, and Tom and Jerry and all of these different cartoons that had all of this negative imagery and negative stereotypes that were they were banned. They were they weren't able to be showed, but somehow those cartoons still were able to get out there. Somebody released them or whatever. And I imagine Warner Brothers Studios has something to do with this. I wanted to talk about that because we didn't get a chance to really go in on Beyonce's Black is King and the positive imagery that black people was able to see. And just this time period right now with with Netflix and Prime and all of these different platforms that are showing a lot of positive black images with positive black shows. Quickly, I just wanted to say I was an avid cartoon watcher. I used to get up every Saturday morning and watch cartoons and stuff like that. And used to see these negative stereotypes. Used to hear Yosemite Sam say cotton picking, rootin' tootin'. What is that? What does that mean? So even though as a kid I didn't understand what that meant or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It still messes with you psychologically. We don't. They say that systematic racism doesn't exist, but that's a lie. It's psychological, and we're in psychological warfare. Even the tangible things that you can't put your hands on, it is still there or whatever. The fact that Tom and Jerry, you would always see the white homeowner, and then you see the fat black woman who I'm pretty sure she had diabetes or whatever. She would be the nanny or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Bugs Bunny, that's a racist cartoon. They used to have pictures of Buckwheat and this black guy like in blackface with big lips and stuff like that or whatever. You know what I mean? And I watched Black is King and I thought it was so powerful. And I made
Yeah.
everybody in my household had to watch Black is King or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because we need positive black images. We've always been told all of this, taught all of these negative stereotypes and stigmas and stuff like that or whatever. So I thought Beyonce is and always will be the king for real.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was beautiful. I think it's amazing that you made your household watch it. We had to watch it too, and we loved it. We enjoyed it. Watched it twice. I think it's something that would definitely be a part of her legacy. I mean,
Yeah,
every time I think she can't do anything greater, her and her team, reaches outside of those boundaries, and I loved it.
exactly.
There's so much imagery from all the different cultures, from the diaspora of Africa, from the braided crowns, the way we wear our hair, the way we dance, just a lot of things. And I hated how so many people try to take it negative and make it, of course, what they do, conspiracy theories, devil worshiping, and all of that. But I challenge everyone to research it, and every image tells a story.
Facts. You don't even have to, I'm sorry, Regina. I just wanted to say real quick, you
Go
don't
ahead.
even have to research it or whatever. We need positive black imagery in Hollywood in television, period. I hate Hollywood because of what they did and the negative images.
Right.
Oh, anyway, go ahead, Regina.
I think that I liked it. I watched it. I only watched it once, but I did like it. There was some dark imagery, but I do encourage people. You do need to do some research. If you're one of those people who just scrolls through your timeline and you see all of this negativity and a lot of hatred toward what she's trying to do, what she's trying to accomplish, and how she's trying to uplift Black people in general, young Black girls, especially at a time like this. I mean, we need to see positive images. It does tell a story, and they're just like in our history, Black history, there are some very dark and negative images in Black history. She did cover the diaspora, and I appreciated that. But I did have to go back and do some additional research because some of the images were dark and some of them are quite recognizable as things that may be perceived as something like a devil worship. So if you don't know, if you don't take the time to do the research, if you don't take the time to dig beyond just Googling things, then you are going to fall into that trap of the conspiracy theory. But it was beautiful. I loved all of the different ways she wore her hair. I loved how she included so many different people. I even loved how like she included some of her, I don't even want to say like friends, but people she's worked with. They may be
Right.
her friends. She had, Kelly Rowland and Naomi Campbell and was it Naomi? I don't
Lots
know.
of brown. Lupita was there.
Lupita, yeah, was in
Yeah,
Brown Skin Girl,
I
and
love
and
that
and
song.
and her own daughter. I
Yeah.
just it just gives such hope to young Black women and little girls that I'm not what they say I am. I'm not what these negative things people say I am. I can be anything. I can be a Beyonce. I can go out. I
Right.
can change the world. I can, if I want to, I can dance on the beach in my African garb. I can do all of these things, and I think it's a really powerful message that she's putting forth. And like I said, right now we kind of need that because so many
Yeah.
things have come up against us. I think last week or a couple of weeks ago when we were talking, I felt like we're out here by ourselves. But people like Beyonce kind of bring a little bit of hope to and light to what's become such a dark environment lately.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
And I appreciate Disney as well for giving us the platform to do such a thing.
Yeah.
Do
You know
you
what I'm
think that
saying?
if Disney hadn't done it, do you think that she wouldn't have been able to? Because I feel like she would have done it
Title.
anyway and put it out on Title, and that would have
Yep.
been it.
I'm not going to say she couldn't have, but I still got to thank them because their platform is humongous. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
You feel
yeah,
me? I
sure.
mean,
Like
but the
low key,
title is not as big as Disney,
But
what I'm saying?
I started using Tidal because there were some things that she hadn't put
Right.
out except on Tidal. So I was like, well, hell, I need to see this. I need to listen to this.
Well,
Let me go download Tidal. Beyonce is huge. So even
facts.
if it reached more because of Disney, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, it also brought more criticism because of Disney. So when you put it that way, I mean, I guess low key, thanks Disney. I mean, I don't know. I would have watched it anyway,
I
though.
can't.
Yeah, I
I
would have
can't
watched
lie.
it anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't have a platform that big.
No, not that big, but we could have added to make our platforms even bigger. And like Gina said, I don't normally use Tidal, but I downloaded and I subscribed because of the things that they only released on Tidal.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
there's even some phone companies now, I don't know which ones, that give you Tidal just by having it. It may be Sprint, I'm not sure. Somebody gives you, yeah, so they partner with them. So it's increasingly getting larger. Will it be Disney? Probably not, or it could be, who knows, but it's not now. But I do appreciate the platform and however it was
Yeah,
used.
like I said,
I will.
low key, thanks Disney, because Disney's put out a lot of negative images of black people before.
I will never thank Disney.
Just recently got a black princess, and she was a frog for 80% of the goddamn movie. So, like, I mean, I guess low key, thanks Disney, low on the lowest of keys, thanks
Yeah.
Disney. But whatever. I
I will.
mean, I still enjoyed it.
I would
Thanks
never thank
Beyonce.
Disney. Yeah, I would never thank Disney. I mean, I would say Netflix. She could have sparked a deal with Netflix and would have been just as big. Netflix is actually bigger than Disney right now because more people have a subscription to Netflix.
Fox, but
You know,
you just talking about the Disney subscription or whatever, but just as a company
yeah, I'm talking about
in
the Disney
totality.
subscription. I'm talking about the
Yeah.
Disney subscription. I'm talking about the Disney
You should
subscription
have put it
and
on
that
Fox.
platform. You know, I don't I never give companies credit for individual artists' accomplishments. The
Yeah.
platform, there has to be a platform for it. You know, Disney got money for it. They don't need our thanks. They got millions of dollars from the views that they're getting from it. So
I
Disney
feel
can kiss
that.
my ass. But yeah, everything y'all said about Black is King, I don't have anything to add to it. You know, it's definitely a must see.
Because you
So
didn't watch it. Did you watch it?
yeah, I watched it.
So all right, so let's take a company like Disney, and I'm not gonna lie, I haven't done tons of homework on Disney or whatever. I can only imagine some of the negative connotations and stuff that you're talking about or whatever. And Regina stated, talking about the Black Princess. Um, is there
Everything you said
anything
about Warner Brothers, everything you just said about Warner Brothers applies to
same
Disney.
applies to Disney? Okay,
It
Yeah,
does. But Disney's
there's a lot of,
granddaughter is trying to change some things.
That's
so
the
tell me,
She's
thing.
and
outing everybody.
so tell me this.
maybe when that becomes something that has happened over a significant amount of time, me along with other people who know
Yeah,
Disney's true history, but start to feel differently about them as a company. But it needs to be a significant
I'm
amount
gonna
of
have
time.
to I'm gonna
You
have to
know,
do some research.
Yes.
yeah,
Do it.
everything you said about Warner Brothers and negative images. They had several cartoons and stuff that they never even put out that had negative image about black. Brer Rabbit.
Yeah,
Brer Rabbit was one of the images that one of the storylines of cartoons that
Mm-hmm.
they didn't push out, but they had plans to push out. It was
yeah.
something that they were producing. A lot of people don't know. Like, have you ever heard of Brer Rabbit? The story behind Brer Rabbit. So
Nah.
if you hear the truth, if you hear the nursery rhymes about Brer Rabbit, he was like a conniving type of rabbit, very
Full of
you could call it
trickery and all that kind of
manipulative, like
stuff.
trickery and
Yeah,
stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. But if you hear the true story about Brer Rabbit, these are stories that are created by black people to basically stories created by black people with animals. And Brer Rabbit represented black people and African Americans. The animals that he connived and deceived were white people. Like that when you listen to the story, you can clearly tell that's what the dynamic of the story is.
yeah.
Disney tried to take that and they tried to use it for their benefit and change it, but it never got pushed out. Not only that, there were other things, even in the cartoons that came out in the when Disney first started as a company.
Yeah,
It's a lot that people don't know about Disney. Disney can kiss my ass, to be completely honest with you.
I feel you.
Yeah,
Well,
I just Googled Brer Rabbit as you were saying it because I hadn't heard it. And it's funny that it says he is a trickster who succeeds by his wits rather than by brawn, provoking authority figures and bending social mores as he sees fit. So I'm gonna look more
And
into
they,
It
that.
they,
sounds
they, they changed the narrative. They changed the narrative of what his stories were originally created, because it was black people that created the stories of Brer Rabbit. It wasn't
Right.
white people, and it was specifically, you can easily change that to a trickster, because when you listen to the original stories, that's exactly what the hell he was. He used his wits to go against people who threatened him, and
it
Right.
didn't
sound
hold him, and didn't hold him as an equal partner in what was happening. That's what
what's
the
even
story is.
plot
Yeah.
twist though. It sounds like they took their story and they sold the rights to whoever, to Tex Avery or whoever wrote Bugs Bunny, because
Yeah.
I mean that's exactly Bugs Bunny or
Yeah,
whatever.
Bugs Bunny did do
Yeah,
some of the. Yeah, he was a trickster as well. I mean,
Hmm.
yeah,
maybe, but it wasn't anybody's story to really sell. It was kind of like passed. The stories were
yeah.
passed down orally. It was like an African black people. It was a tradition, and the stories were passed down
If
orally. It wasn't
if
a
if anything, Warner,
thing to
Warner
sell.
Brothers probably took the
Stole it.
story and changed it to be Bugs Bunny, and blah blah blah.
Do we
That's
got time to
probably more likely that will happen.
talk about the Krug lady? What's her name? Jessica Krug, the one who pretended to be black.
We You got to be real quick. We
Yeah,
don't have
we're
too
not gonna
much
be able to
time.
go into depth.
Um, what's the story on her? Somebody go
Okay.
ahead and give us a
Yeah.
little.
So Jessica Crook is or was a African American and Latin American Studies professor at George Washington University in Washington D.C. This recently she penned a note or a letter to discuss how she's been deceiving everyone for a long period of time, saying that she is Afro Latina. She's always accredited her roots to the Bronx, and it's all been determined, Mari, that that's a lie. So she doesn't call herself. She's apologizing. I don't know why. I don't know if she just had a change of heart. We can only read her letter to go by what she said, but she does not call herself a culture vulture. She calls herself a culture leech. And she's very remorseful for what she's done. I mean, she didn't tan her skin or anything. She kind of like changed her hair curly,
Mm-hmm.
She said she had Puerto Rican roots and African American. So, but many people within that those studies have cited many of her papers and her speeches on African American studies. Many people looked up to her, many students that identified with her. I did see on the news that some of the African American and Latin students, really feel deceived because they said they felt like they could, look up to her and that she related to their struggle, especially going to a school such as George Washington University. But one issue, and you all can chime in, is that she got the job on the premise of being of that culture and teaching the culture, where many other qualified women or could have potentially had that same position. So
Mm-hmm.
many people are upset that she's taking up space that's already limited to our black and brown women. So what are your thoughts on it?
My thoughts is that she she is a culture vulture. She can say whatever she wants. I understand why she's saying she's a culture leech, is because she's in a certain way she's trying to say that she loves the culture, and she's in love with the culture, and she's not like trying to absorb it for her own gain. She like wanted to be a part of it. But you're a culture vulture because of what you did with the culture. If you were a culture leech, you just would have been a white person who loves black culture, but you wouldn't be profiting off of it. You wouldn't have wrote papers for profit. You wouldn't have a job for profit. You wouldn't be relating to students as you're a black person, to gain more notoriety, even though that may not have been your purpose. That's what
Mm-hmm.
happened. So you are a culture vulture. You don't deserve to have that position based off of how you got it. If you were a white woman who had these same ideals and you applied for the job and they were like, she would be a great professor, even though she's not black, she knows so much, and she's immersed herself in our culture to try to help uplift us as black people. I have no problem with you having the job. The way that you have the job and the way that you go about, deceiving people about who you are, you don't deserve that position. You need to lose your job. And, hopefully she can rebound and doing whatever it is that she want to do later in life.
I mean, well, what? So I read George Washington University's statement regarding her letter and how they felt deceived, and it brought into question some of her research and some of the things that she's done and taught. But I wonder. I haven't read any of her research, her papers, anything like that. I've never been in one of her classes, but I wonder if what she said or what she was doing was actually like valid. I wonder if the way she was educating those individuals who took her class and in the papers that she wrote, I wonder if they were valid and they helped and they pushed the culture forward. If that's the case, then I mean, I don't agree with her deceiving everybody to get the job, but I can't be too angry with her because she told the
Gave more than
truth.
she gave more than what she took away.
I think that's what I'm alluding to. I can't really articulate my thoughts, but I feel the same way I felt about Rachel Dolezal. Like, I don't care that she pretended to be black. Like, I don't care, girl. Do what you do. She married a black man. She had black kids, whatever. I wonder if her work like overshadowed the fact that she pretended to be something that she really wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, because to be honest, people do it all the time. So am I upset that she felt she had to deceive in order to get the job and actually do the job? I mean, yeah. But did her work overshadow that lie that she told? And does that make everything? Does that invalidate everything about her? I don't think so.
I see what your point, and I put this in the same category as John Gray. You may not. I look at this. I don't look at this with emotions. I look at this with what you're doing as a profession and the message that you're putting out. The same thing with John Gray. Her career is why I say she deserves to be fired and not to be in that position, and how she got it. You're a hypocrite. You are a hypocrite. Like I said, I gave an example that if she was just doing another job and she loved the culture and she did education and then she talked about it and she pretended to be black, but you wasn't profiting off of it. You didn't have a job as a black woman at a HBCU teaching African American studies. If you didn't have that job, do you? But you do. So you deserve you deserve the scrutiny and everything that comes along with it. That's my only that's what I'm saying. I don't care about like the fact that she like John Gray, we talked about him in another show. That could be the same thing applied to what you just said, Regina. His teachings were his teachings, and what he was saying is probably truth. He couldn't follow his own teachings, but that doesn't mean that other people didn't take the teachings and benefit from them. The same thing can be said with this woman here. Her teachings could have been very valid, and people were saying how they felt deceived because they looked up to her and they could relate to her. So I feel like if you did do research, you probably would read her stuff and say, wow, like it really feels like she knows what black people are going through. But that doesn't excuse the fact that she never felt like what black people are going through. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, it's a disappointment. It's just disappointing.
Yeah.
And I do like marvel at the fact that like I'm wondering why she even felt like she had I feel like somebody threatened her. I was like, girl, I'm about to expose
it was
you.
her sister-in-law. Her sister-in-law exposed her.
Okay. That's what it was.
Yeah, I read it. Her sister-in-law
I was like, because why else would she go ahead and write this letter? And then the other thing is that, like, if she felt that way,
well, that's cold blooded.
Yeah, it is.
Well, what I was reading about her sister-in-law is it's cold blooded because of the title, but not cold blooded because of the sister-in-law's point of view. The sister-in-law's
what was her point of view?
Her point of view is she doesn't come around. She doesn't claim the family. She missed her own mother's funeral because she didn't want people to know that she was pretending to be black, and they didn't know it at the time. They were being deceived by her, wondering like, why are you not around? Why are you not here? Why are you not doing certain things? And then they found out this is why you're not even proud of us as a people. You know, I mean, I feel that if I was born white, I would be proud to be white. If I was born Hispanic, I'll be proud to be Hispanic. Like if I found out my sister was trying to be another culture, another race, I would be like disappointed in my sister or my brother for not owning this.
Would you out your sister?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. No,
I might out mine.
I wouldn't out my sister. I wouldn't care. Girl, if that's how you feel, live your truth. Because I've grown past the point of trying to make people change their mind about things like this.
Yeah.
And, you know, I still love my sister. I mean, I'm not saying that she's pretending to be white, but she does a lot of things that you would consider like a white thing. Like, I mean, I don't go hiking, but my sister is always posting pictures of herself hiking, and she does have her boyfriend, her significant other is a white man, and she lives out in California, and she does a lot of things that I feel like I wouldn't do, not because I wouldn't. I mean, I just feel like it's a white thing to do. I'm not hiking,
but it's
girl.
Not. It's
I mean,
not.
it might not be, but like traditionally growing up, like my white friends used to go camping and stuff. Like I didn't see that as a black thing. Maybe black people go camping. I'm not a black woman who goes camping. So when I
didn't have opportunities.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is then. And now she has those opportunities, and that's what she's doing. God bless her. I'm still not going hiking, girl. I don't want to be in the woods somewhere. I'm not.
We don't got time to hike. We trying to pay bills and shit.
I think it just depends on the position. Like if my sister is ethnically ambiguous and she's a pastor and everybody's following, or she's a teacher, she's I don't know, because like I might like leak a little bit, like drink a little drink and just let it leak. But like, okay, like Rachel what's her name? Rachel Dolezal. I actually liked her. She had a place in my heart, because she was like the president of NAACP. She got them braids. She went all out. But at the end of the day, you can be what you're going to be. Like the founders of NAACP, isn't what two of them were white people. So of the national organization, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I need to fact check, but you don't have to do all that. So I just feel like it comes to a position, I don't want to change people's views. If you want to live your lie, most people are living a lie, whatever their lie is in life. But but if I can control it, but that's why my husband said I don't mind my own business enough. But if my if my sister is over millions, or she's impacting a lot of students, and they're like, oh my gosh, you went through okay, like some women will say, oh, I went through physical abuse. I was beat and battered, and and so people gravitate because they gravitate because they feel like they can understand. So if that's my sister, I'll be like, look, these people need help, and you over here making a profit off of it. No, she wasn't battered. We good.
But if she's really helping them, no, you got.
Yeah, but I'm gonna talk to her. I'm gonna say, look, you can help, but tell the truth. You can still help. It doesn't always, like, if you ask me, can you sing? I'm not a singer, but I can still tell if you can sing.
But she couldn't get in that position, I guess, unless, like y'all say, unless she was black or whatever.
No, well, I identify as
that's
white.
Discrimination. That's discrimination. Yeah. Anybody can hold a position at a university regardless of color. You can't say, well, we got to hire a black person to teach African American studies. They have plenty of white people who have African American African studies degrees. It may not be popular, but they have plenty of white people who go into that field. So that's discrimination to say that. Man, what I want to say, like, before we go real quick, what I want to say, I want to have a conversation about double standards, because I feel like y'all not holding this woman to the same standard for her being a hypocrite that y'all holding N.I.G.Ga. And I feel like emotions play a part in that.
He was egregious, and he did it.
She's fired. N.I.G.Ga is still trying to hold his position. Yeah. She's fired. She's gone. She's a goner.
Hey, we gotta go though.
Yeah, we gotta go.
We'll pick this up next week, y'all. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Like, go get registered to vote too. Register.
All of that. We will. Yes, we are gonna pick this up again, because I'm not ready to let it go.
Tell them, Gina.
Thank y'all for tuning in to Acoustic Chef. Please like, please share, please continue the conversation. We love you guys. Y'all have a good day.
All right, we're out.